Welcome back to another podcast. What are we at?
Fourth podcast.
Damn, 4 weeks.
It was 4 weeks. It's the fourth week of
That's
2000. The first podcast was in 2025.
higher.
And to start this podcast with, we both don't feel like recording this podcast because Friday, both of us, we were red, and that was like less than 12 hours ago approximately, but we were done around 8 p.m. So 15 hours ago. We both were not feeling like recording the podcast. Usually at night, we discuss previous night, we're going to meet at this time. But this morning, we discussed that, okay, let's meet. It's at the moment 12 p.m. So we were like, okay, let's meet around 11 and record the podcast. So we can discuss the ups and downs traders go through as a trader. And how was our week? We're going to start with that because every podcast we start with how was your week? And then we're going to discuss one topic that we can think about at that moment of time. So how was your week?
Long week, honestly. I guess it's funny. It's a bit contradictory to what we discussed last week. But I remember last week we discussed how it's sometimes important to like focus on things outside of trading to sort of distract yourself. And that is true, mostly speaking. But when you're sort of, when you need to work on trading, you just need to work on trading. And I feel like I've been so busy outside of trading that I haven't given enough focus to trading now. So it's reached the other end of the spectrum where it's like I feel like I need to focus and actually think more about what I'm doing right, what I'm doing wrong, because the markets are ever changing and you need to keep adapting.
Yeah.
Your trading style a bit, your stock universe, what you're trading, that needs to be adapted. And if you don't give enough attention and time to that, I feel like at the end of the day, like trading will suffer.
That's what I also feel like, adapting to the market conditions, because it took us like 3 or 4 days to start looking at AMD, start watching AMD. Bit too long. Like earlier, I remember like 4 or 5 years ago, I was like looking at all the charts every single day. Okay, this stock is moving, focus on this stock. These days, you are sometimes as an experienced trader, it's something that comes with experience, pros and cons of this, I would say. The pro is that, okay, you know what you're doing. Obviously, you get that intuition. But the con is that then sometimes you're just stuck in your own ways, that you don't focus on adaptability and adapting to what is moving. Tesla has been moving like shit. And fortunately, I did not lose a lot of money on Tesla this last week. I lost on AMD. But AMD was moving the week before. This week also it had
been moving, this week as well. So, I mean, it's like a bell curve. I think we found ourselves in the middle of the bell curve, which is, well, I guess, perfect place to be. And at some point, it went to the end of the bell curve, where again, you're at like zero level, whatever, optimization, so to speak. And I think it's time to sort of climb back up and realize that, you know, there's always going to be a little bit of adaptability that needs to take place, no matter how experienced you are and how rigid you are with your ways. Market conditions are ever changing, so you need to sort of, I guess, be a little bit open to the idea of sort of adapting your strategy a little bit.
Yeah, makes sense. So you said that there are a few things going in your life. So what is happening, like personal and work, that are kind of you're not able to give enough time to trading?
Yeah, I mean, work, you know, we've been working on our project behind the scenes. That's taking a lot of time. I have my wedding planning that's going on. That's also, it takes about a lot of time, a lot of planning, a lot of organization.
So yeah, not even planning. I think it's a bit more anxious event, anxiety as well, that you feel like, okay, a big event is coming. And you're just looking forward to something, but it's also looking forward to that anxiety-driven event. It's not like a bad event, but it's just like you are anxious about something going. Like you want it to go.
Exactly, it's excitement. At the end of the day, it's just you want it to go well, you want it to go perfectly, and it doesn't just happen. You have to like make sure everything's sort of organized in a way that it does fall into place. And I mean, it takes a bit of thinking, a bit of time to sort of figure all that out.
So my weekly recap was: Monday I was red, Tuesday I was green, Wednesday I was green. 2 5-figure days, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, lost 5 figures again. So it's like a roller coaster week. It's like I'm making and then losing. The same has been theme in January. And I feel like, the stocks we are used to are not moving. So we are trading other stocks. For example, yesterday in my head, because every single day I have a daily journal, so I have to note it down. Do I see a playbook set up? Is it worth taking it off the open? So I have a few questions I answer. And I also have made a video on that, my trading journaling process in the pre-market. That's on my main channel. So yesterday I said that, do you see any playbook setup? The answer was yes. It should have been no, because I was watching AMD, NVDA and Tesla. So I discussed in the Discord group as well that NVDA is in a shitty zone.
It is,
And the price action was shit.
It was.
Tesla has earnings Wednesday next week. So historically speaking, based on my experience, that's why I did not lose a lot of money on Tesla this week. I don't know if I'm green or red on Tesla. I basically took like 2 or 3 trades on it. But I know that based from my experience, that is again a pro of being an experienced trader, that I have lost so much money on Tesla before earnings. It just doesn't move. Yesterday also 450 breakout was a freaking fake out twice or thrice.
Yeah.
And I just know that it can be a fake out, and that's why like the price action is so bad on Tesla before earnings. Every time I just lose money, after the earnings I make money, ending up break even on that stock.
Yeah.
So last time as well, before the earnings, I was mindful of it, that the price action is really shit. Tesla is one of the stock. Meta also reporting earnings on the same day on Wednesday.
Yeah.
With Tesla, I think so. After the FOMC, so we have FOMC this coming
The mistake week next week. Yeah.
with Tesla and Meta reporting earnings. But Meta, even though Meta has earnings on Wednesday, the price action has been decent. Thursday was nice. Friday also it was towards the upside. But Tesla is something that before the earnings season, I don't know why. Like before earnings, it just dies. It just dies for like 5 or 6 days before the earnings. It just dies down.
And it feels like we get a lot of institutional sort of enabling their positions, setting up for the earnings release, whatever it is.
And then AMD on Friday. So talking about that, I selected that. Yes, it's a part of my playbook. But now looking back, in that moment, I thought it's a part of my playbook, but going back, it wasn't. So now when I look at the chart, yes, we discussed the AMD exhaustion squeeze as well, which is what happened. But the sentiment is so strong that the exhaustion squeeze was also not that nice.
Yeah.
By exhaustion squeeze, I mean that the stock has been in a recent rally or downside. Then eventually the third or fourth day it gaps up or gaps down, and then it goes the opposite direction. That is what I call exhaustion squeeze. It happened on AMD. It went from like the 267, I think 266 was the high.
It almost hit all-time high.
And then the low was like 256. So it did exhaustion squeeze, but very bad momentum. Momentum was not there. And exhaustion squeeze is part of my playbook, but it's like, it's not something that I am very efficient or very good at.
I guess you haven't practiced that setup, that strategy enough.
It doesn't show up enough.
It doesn't show up enough because you don't get a lot of stocks that just rally hard and then you get those nice exhaustions.
Yeah, and even like that happens, like AMD exhaustion squeeze, even though it worked out, based on my personality, I can't hold it for like 2 or 3 hours for it to work.
Yeah.
I'm a momentum trader. I want the momentum to be there. The momentum was not there. So looking back, there was no playbook setup. AMD was all-time high, extended daily chart at all-time high, exhaustion squeeze, yes, but I bought calls at open. So I lost money on calls on the pullback. So that was not my playbook. And so, yeah, I was looking for the all-time high break. Yes, in that moment, you feel like it's going to go for all-time high. It's going to go to 270. But if you look at it objectively speaking, after the next day, it wasn't a good setup.
Yeah.
NVDA was in the daily range, so I was not a big fan of it. Tesla was pretty shitty.
Yeah.
So the answer to that question, do you see a playbook setup, should have been no.
Yeah.
Why did I click yes? Because I just wanted, 2 5-figure days in a row, Wednesday, Thursday. I want to make more. Like, so my objective, my subjective, my biased mind of view is like, yes, I see a playbook setup, but it's not there.
Yeah.
Do you also feel that?
I do feel that. And well, I was feeling that on Tesla. With AMD, as much as I wanted to, I kind of sort of realized that the daily is really extended. It's into all-time high. It's a perfect time for people to take profit if they're trying to take profit. So I guess maybe I wasn't too keen on that, but then I feel like I'm quite addicted to Tesla, which is not a very good thing if you ask me. It's good sometimes, it's bad sometimes, and in this case it's bad because
the bad was also because you can't trade the next week expiry on Tesla because the premiums are very expensive because of earnings. So the only option was to trade the same day expiry, and then 450 fake out. If you got stuck in that fake out, the premiums drop like 50, 40.
Yeah, and I guess it's because I am addicted to Tesla and it was moving so shit for the last, 2 weeks or so. I was like, okay, the momentum has finally come back in. Buyers have sort of stepped up the priority. And I was like, okay, yeah, today it's a playbook setup. And even if it maybe kind of was, like you said, it has earnings next week. And historically speaking, like we know better than to expect it to move a lot before earnings because it generally doesn't. It's usually like completely trappy, no momentum. Which is exactly what it was. Like even when
momentum
it broke,
is going to kick in for 1 or 2 candles and then just drop.
And it slams back down. It doesn't just slowly grind back. It slams.
Yeah, I saw that. Like it actually broke above 450, 451. The first fake out, I remember that you got stuck in that. The second or third time also, it actually broke out.
Yeah.
Made a new high of the day. On a normal
time, it looks good.
It looked good. Like on the tape, everything looks good. But it's just like buyers are going to come in, stop loss is getting triggered, smack hard.
Yeah.
So it just feels like algo trading at this point.
Absolutely. Yeah. And it was also between R3 and S3. So
yeah.
Should have known better. It wasn't a playbook setup. That's the bottom line. I think I just convinced myself that it was, and it really wasn't.
Yeah, and the ups and downs we go through, because if you actually, it's going to be interesting, because I think we are recording this podcast for us as well, because after like 2 years, after 6 months, when we go back, we can actually see that episode 1 and 2, we both were like, yeah.
Yeah.
Episode 3rd, it was like for you, it was a bit downhill. And then
Yeah.
4th is like, you can actually see that from our
Yeah,
expression,
you could probably see it on my face, the pain.
how trading affects your life, your mental health. And it's like roller coaster, man. It's insane. Like, first a week, 2 weeks, you're going to be really happy. Then 1 or 2 days, it's just going to kill your momentum. And that's what we discussed yesterday as well, that maybe next week I'm going to drop back down to 20, 30 contracts. It's just like getting the momentum. It's start of the year, because we ended 2025 really strong. We want 2026 to be better. I remember 2025, the first 30 days I made a video, I made 100K. But they were like small base hits.
Yeah.
And
And sometimes that's all it takes, just because when you set yourself up well with a cushion, with the mental sort of strength, the base hits that what we call base hits, their base hits may be monetarily wise compared to the bigger days, but what it builds for you is your discipline, your intuition, and your confidence, and like you essentially are setting yourself up to capture bigger moves through the year.
Yeah, I think these are very emotions, like very important emotions as a trader. Your confidence, your discipline, and your intuition. Intuition is basically how
I mean, that
you
gut
are
feeling, like when you're
market.
in sync with the market, right?
Discipline is something that you're sleeping well, you're sticking to your stop loss or whatever. Discipline is something that you can work on. With discipline comes confidence and intuition. Confidence is that how confident you are with your trading. So I think, tracking these 3 emotions on a daily basis are very important as a trader.
Yeah.
And moving forward from there, I think other thing is that personally me, I think I'm going to be sizing down. I even removed the hotkeys from my stream deck. I mean, did not remove it. It's like I have 2 pages.
I also have 2 pages, so I'm going to switch back to my smaller. So my smaller setup is like 30 contracts, I think, max.
Yeah, so my smaller is like 50 contracts max.
Yeah.
Which makes sense, because 30, I feel like it's too limiting sometimes. Like it's like you need to find a good middle ground, because if only 30, I'm going to switch to the next page.
Yeah, I get what you're saying. I think I'll modify mine as well to make it 50. And then 50, I think you have one that goes up to 200.
500.
Oh my God, okay.
Yeah, last year I was taking like 500 contracts on NVDA. So this year, obviously, I did not start with a 200K account. And yeah, eventually, like I think we are seeing, I don't like to see this kind of fluctuation, 5-figure green, 5-figure red, 5-figure green, 5-figure red. I don't want to see this kind of a fluctuation. And last year it was like consistent base hits, 100K. And I think 100K within the first 30 trading days. And it was pretty good, like 100K in the first 30 trading days, but that just builds the momentum. And after that, I had like a 93K day, right?
Yeah.
So I think it's never too late.
It's never
still early.
Even if it is too late, you can't say that. You have to keep believing, because I mean, this journey is going to take you through some tough times.
Yeah.
And the second you sort of accept that you're done for, you've mentally tapped out. So even if it's really bad and you're in the shitter, sort of feels like I am in the moment. Of course, it's not. It's not the end of my trading career, but it's not like a fun place to be either ways. But you have to keep believing that, okay, I can still, if I do things right, it's going to turn around. And that first step is sort of adjusting your position size so you can trade more objectively.
Yeah, that's very important, to lower the position sizing. And that's why it's never too late, because I don't like to see this kind of fluctuation in my P&L. So next week, max 50 contracts. And after earnings, obviously, then you have the leverage. Obviously, you have the account, you have the experience. Then obviously, like after earnings of Tesla, that is like bread and butter setup.
You'll know if it's there. Like you don't.
But on a usual day, if I don't see anything, and even if I, like, ideally don't trade if you don't see anything.
Yeah.
But obviously, like when you are going through so many fluctuations, it can take one day to just go big red. And it's better to reduce your position sizing. And then that's what I'm going to be doing next week. Talking about position sizing, we were talking about commissions as well. So last year in 2025, statistically, this is a fact, not like statistically, I paid $200,000 to $13,000 approximately in commissions, which is a lot.
And I trade more than Jay, which is not the best thing. But I think I paid $270,000 in commissions.
Yeah,
if I'm not wrong.
Yeah, so it's a lot in commission. So recently, because of the social media and my main channel has got a lot of views, we are a new video is coming out next week. I wanted to post it this weekend, but then I had a chat with Gemini, because it's an educational video. I don't watch educational videos on.
What's the topic of the video? Are you?
It's like one God concept of order flow. It's actually really good. It's actually.
I'm curious to watch now.
Yeah, it's actually a really good video. I've been working on it for the past 1 week. It's actually full jam packed, and thumbnail, obviously I put a lot on it.
Yeah.
And so yeah, that will be coming out. I think I'm going to release it on Tuesday or Wednesday. It's ready, like it's uploaded on YouTube. I just have to click publish. But you guys tell me, because Gemini, I use Gemini ChatGPT to schedule my videos, to just grow my channel overall. Gemini told me that don't post it on Saturday because of Friday, because people are like, okay, obviously like me as well, on Friday, if I see a video from SMB Capital showing on my feed on Friday, I won't watch it. Like I'm going to watch it on Monday. I'm going to save it to watch later.
Yeah.
Something like that. Or I might not save it and forget by Monday. So Gemini told me that because you have, it's an educational video, not entertainment video. We look forward to Matt Armstrong's video on Sunday.
Just to relax.
But that is entertainment.
Yeah, it's
Right.
different.
I don't look
Because you actually want to focus on educational videos.
Yeah.
You don't want to just like brain rot type watch it.
Yeah.
You want to focus and learn.
Yeah, we both watch Matt Armstrong's video. If you are like into cars, even if you're not into cars, he just has a good kind of life story going behind him. So we both watch his videos. Every Sunday he releases one or the other videos on his 2 channels. And so coming from there, yeah, so Gemini told me that upload it on weekday, not Monday necessarily, like Tuesday or Wednesday. Monday, people are more focused on their work. Tuesday, Wednesday, it's more time where people actually focus on learning and education. So, yeah. So that's why I think I'm going to be posting on Tuesday or Wednesday, most likely Wednesday. But you guys tell me, like, do you want to watch an educational video on a weekend? Let me know in the comment section below. I can post it. This video is going to go live on Sunday, so I won't release that video. But for me, moving forward, I will have that in the back of my mind. So commissions, coming back to commissions. Because of my social media, I got contacted by a broker, Lightspeed. So they are giving a good deal. And if I told them that, I mentioned that in the last podcast as well, briefly, that if I like the platform myself, and that's the thing, like I started trading options with Interactive Brokers in 2020, same as you. We haven't switched. So we don't know what's out there.
Yeah.
And even with Interactive Brokers, the customer service is really bad. The fills are good, but we don't have experience with the other brokers.
Yeah.
Interactive Brokers is definitely better than, I would say, Charles Schwab, Think Awesome, but we don't have experience with the other brokers.
We sort of got into that because you started with that. It's almost like your home, so to speak. So you're comfortable.
It's like,
and when you're comfortable, you don't feel like going out of that space.
It makes me, so it's like optimum nutrition gold standard.
Yeah.
I still have that protein. I started taking that protein like
when there are so many options, and Optimum Nutrition is actually really expensive protein, but there are also like really other, like many other good options when it comes to like protein powders, but you're just comfortable with the brand. In most cases, it doesn't matter, but in this case, when it comes to commissions, Interactive Brokers is very expensive.
I had a chat with Gemini about that as well, so I was not aware of the fills, and my main issue was that we were on like phone calls. Lightspeed, as of this moment, my experience with them is really good. I'm still not an affiliate with them, but my experience, the people who contacted me, I got on a call with them, they were like really good. They are giving me a good deal. And if I am an affiliate, you guys will also get a really good deal. Honestly, like it's
insane.
If you trade on Interactive Brokers, it's gonna be like you're gonna be paying 30% of the commissions you are paying at the moment. So last year I paid like $210K.
Yeah, and you're essentially getting a 70% discount on that now.
So that means it's not only about discount, it's about I will be paying like 60K instead of 210K, approximately, more or less. It's 140K added to your P&L,
which is huge. It's a lot of money, like, right? It's essentially, it can change a year.
Yeah, 140K is like 6 figures added to your P&L for just changing a broker. And then I was concerned about the fills and everything. I still don't have any experience with like Lightspeed. I checked on Gemini, I checked on ChatGPT, on Reddit as well. People are actually saying that the fills of Lightspeed are better. Their customer service is better.
Yeah.
The platform can be better, but if we can use Dash Trader Pro, then Lightspeed. I'm only going to be using Lightspeed.
We anyways only use Interactive Brokers for order execution.
Yeah.
We don't use it for charting. We don't use it for anything.
Yeah, it's not very user friendly. Lightspeed, like I was setting up the platform this morning. I still have applied for my own account. So this coming week, hopefully I'm going to be trying it out. So I'm not an affiliate still, because I told them I will try out your platform myself first. If the fills are good, then only I'm going to recommend and we will get into an affiliate agreement. But as of now, there's no agreement and I want to try the platform out myself. So this coming week, hopefully I'm going to try it out. And as per my research online, not my personal experience, the fills are really good. The customer service is good. IB customer service is non-existent. It's basically like
existent. It just takes a while to get a hold of them.
And even if you call them, I had an issue one time, like with withdrawal or something, it was getting stuck on pending. It's just like same as if you call in the morning, there's like an Australian customer service. One time I was directed to Australia. If you call in the evening, it's Indian customer service. It's basically like, even if you have, and that's what Julian Petroulis, I don't know if you guys know him, he knows him. He has a YouTube channel and I follow him. He also mentioned the same thing, like he has say 7 figures, like $100 million worth of portfolio, whatever, with Interactive Brokers, he mentioned the same freaking thing. Even with that amount of portfolio with Interactive Brokers, his experience is the same.
Yeah, which is crazy.
If you have $100 million in a bank account, the bank is going to provide you with like a manager, a business manager, whatever, like a customer service manager. If you have any issues, just call that person. It happens with all the banks, even in UAE as well. But yeah, so with Interactive Brokers, even if you have an issue, like you have a $50 million position open and you want to close it and you can't do it, you just have to still be in touch with the customer support back in Australia or India or whatever. So
have you seen Interactive Brokers chart, stock chart? It's listed. It's actually doing really well.
Yeah.
They're like at all-time highs pretty much.
So much commissions.
So much commissions.
Yeah. So that's why like Lightspeed Trader, I'm going to try it out and see how it is. And if we get a good deal, they will be offering like 50% of commission. The deal is actually really good. And it's going to be like the commissions are already cheaper. But if you join using the affiliate link, if we are get into agreement, it's going to be even cheaper. And I calculated, it's like I'm going to be saving a lot of money. And I'm actually excited. Like, it's exciting.
It is exciting. I mean, like, it adds a lot.
It adds a
your
lot.
P&L.
Just like if the fills are good, I even set my hotkeys this morning. So I have a demo account for now. So I'm just preparing the layout on my demo account so that I can just import that layout on the live account.
Yeah.
I set up the hotkeys all market orders because I think the commission, I emailed them to get back to me because they gave me the commission structure for me. And I don't know if it's for limit order or market order. I think it's the same thing.
It should be the same.
But I still email them, like, is it limit or market order? When they might as well place market orders, all the market orders.
Yeah, I mean, we anyways trade liquid names. Yeah. So whether you hit limit, ask or market, you're probably going to get either the ask fill or you're going to get a better fill than the ask. Yeah. So it's like a new point. It's something that I've realized which is unorthodox.
Yeah, I was setting up the platforms this morning. Yeah, so very first time I opened it, I got on a call with them. Like, I can't understand this. What the hell is this? I'm not able to understand this. It's very complicated. Like, very first time you open it, it's like, what the hell?
It's sort of like DAS, right? Like even Interactive Brokers, when you first open it, it looks like a software from like the 1990s.
Yeah. Yeah. So now, because I just execute my orders, so what I need, I have it. And once you get hold of it, it actually took me like 10 minutes this morning to set up all the hotkeys.
Yeah.
From like 1, 2, 3, 5, 10, 15, 20, 30, 50, 100 contracts. So until 100, I have set it up on my buy and sell both.
Yeah.
So it took me like 10 minutes. Yeah. It's pretty easy. I will show you. It's pretty easy. So yeah, I mean, if it works out, it's kind of exciting. I'm excited for next week. So once my account is approved, I'm going to fund it and I'm going to start using it. And if I'm able to get my commissions down from 200K to 50K, it's insane. Yeah. It's exciting. Yeah. I just want the fills to be good. Like the fills should not be suffered because that is how you make money. Commissions are secondary. But if the fills are suffering, then there's no point of
commissions make no difference.
Yeah. So yeah, let's start with the personal life now. I think this was the first 20-25 minutes for the trading section of the podcast. Let's now switch to personal life. He injured his wrist. We were playing on Monday. Sunday.
Yeah. Oh no, we were playing. I think it's been almost a week now.
It's last week we got the new rackets.
That was a weekend.
The day after that.
No, that was midweek.
Last week, midweek? Yeah, this week I haven't worked out a lot, honestly.
Yeah, it was last week.
Yeah, so he actually injured his wrist really bad. I don't know what he was doing, like during warm-up.
Yeah, I think so. No, so the thing is, when you play squash, right, it's a very, like, you have to put a lot of force in your shots. And it's fairly important to warm up your wrist. Yeah. Because you sort of move. I think if you're doing it right, you should not be moving your wrist. Yeah. I think I'm probably doing that wrong.
I don't think so. I move my wrist, but that's why my shots are not very...
No, but I don't know what's right, to be honest. I'm not a pro squash player, but we've been playing squash a lot, right? So, and with a squash ball, you need to like hit it really hard to warm it up. So, I do the body warm up outside or in the court, whatever, but I don't do the wrist warm up. Yeah. So I just walked into the court with my racket, threw the ball in the air, and I smashed it really hard. And instantly, I felt like a click in my wrist. Yeah. And I ignored it. And we continued playing. I think we played 1.5 games. Yeah. And then I did another shot that was probably twisted my wrist in that direction again, and I think that's the worst injury I've had like in a while. It's been a while since I've been injured, and I think the last time I was actually badly injured was maybe like in 2022, where I was like deadlifting super heavy, like for no reason.
How old are you now? 2000 born, right?
Yeah, so I'm 25, turning 26, and
yeah. So yeah, it's only gonna keep on getting worse, and that's what I feel like when I used to watch videos. I'm like 31 now. When I used to watch videos online, people are like, they're always complaining about injuries or whatever. I don't know, after the age of 28, 29,
I know what 30, happens.
Like specifically after the age of 29, 30, like in Australia, at your age, I used to like not sleep for 3 days. People know my journey. If you don't know, I started trading in Australia, working in the morning, trading at night. So I was willing and I was capable and I was able to do it.
Yeah.
Not sleep for 2-3 days, only running around with 2 or 3 hours of sleep. And at the moment, my phone is recording it, but my Whoop score, my sleep has been like 95% yesterday. And if you know 95%, it's actually a lot.
Subtle flex.
I'm like top 1%, men 30 to 40, Dubai, like in the whole world, I'm top 1% sleep.
Yeah.
And this morning, my sleep was 91%, slightly lower because of the red days as well.
Yeah.
So I remember my first red day on Monday, my sleep was bad. I mean, I was a bit sick as well, so my RHR was also high. But I can see that any big red day, my sleep suffers.
Yeah.
And it's very important, like, so coming back to age, at the age of 25, 26, I could do it. Like, okay, sleeping for 2-3 hours a day and then just sleeping and catching up over the weekend.
I don't think I can do it. I'm 25, 26. I don't think I can do it anymore. Like I was saying earlier, like in 2022 when I got injured, when I injured my back deadlifting, it was a pretty bad injury. Like I actually heard and felt my spine like compress. And I was bedridden for 2 days. But the third day I went back to the gym. And like, I don't know if I was working through the pain or my body recovered that fast, but it's been a week. I haven't worked out in a week. I feel like skinny, but my wrist is still not 100%.
Yeah,
It never used to take so long to recover.
So I injured my ankle. He knows about that. So we went to play like indoor cricket, and that was like a few months ago now.
Yeah, it's been
3-4 months ago. So I injured like the net. It wasn't even it was my fault. Every injury, I don't know. Like you get injured while playing. So the net is like stuck at the bottom. It's like screwed down. So that my foot just stopped there, and then my ankle twisted there.
Yeah.
And
So for context, we were playing net cricket in
Indoor cricket.
Indoor cricket, and the net has like those holes.
Yeah. So
But I
that
think
was like similar injury to yours, but it was like ankle.
Yeah.
And then at that moment, like it hurt really bad. And then I iced it and I was like, okay, back walking. And then I sat in the car, I drove home.
Yeah.
That night, that was the first time in my life I actually felt like I need help. It's a very bad situation to be in. Like you need help.
Yeah. I can't walk.
I woke up at 1 a.m. just to pee.
Yeah.
It took me freaking 15 minutes to go to pee. Because I woke up, I was like, okay, my leg was hurting. I still slept because we played. I was tired. I woke up at 1, my ankle was like swollen, like crazy. And I was like, okay, I tried to get off the bed. I wasn't able to put even 1 gram of weight on that leg.
How'd you walk?
It's like, because I just need a support, right? So I like support bed and then wall. I was just like crawling and like the wall. It was so
That's
bad.
traumatic, honestly.
It took me 15 minutes. And then actually I remember that was on Sunday. I think we played.
Yeah.
We played on Sunday. This was Monday. And then Wednesday I had podcast with Words of Wisdom.
How'd you?
And then I was like, so I was just thinking like that night, I was like, I can't get up from the bed. I think it's a fracture. I don't know how am I going to go to like that podcast as well. I can't cancel because he's in Dubai. I can't cancel the podcast. And then I was like, how am I going to go to the hospital? It's definitely a fracture. I can't even walk. How am I going to get like out of the house to the lift? I will need a wheelchair. I just felt like so miserable. Like I always like to be in control.
Yeah.
Even when I used to get high, I don't get high anymore, like drinking or whatever. I never lost control.
When I said get high, he means drinking, by the way.
Yeah, drinking. So yeah, that's my worst drink. Like that was only one and the first and the last time, to be honest. Like in Australia, I was like, this time I'm going to drink because I used to be the designated driver. This was like when I was like 21, 22. Had like 10, 11 whiskey, 30 ml, like in like 1 or 2 hours. Then I was puking, but I was still aware.
Yeah.
What is happening? I was still like, I am in control. I just want to be in control of my body, what is happening with me. And if you lose that control because of an injury, and it's very scary. And then I was like, I was thinking about you because now he's the neighbor. I think you recently moved in. It was October, November.
Yeah.
Moved in. And that's why we went from here.
Yeah.
We went
together itself.
You know
what's weird, and I guess it's a body's defense mechanism. But when you injure yourself, and you typically have a lot of adrenaline running in your body, so. And I think you also felt the same way, which is why you were able to walk to your car, drive home after your injury. After my wrist injury, we played 3 more games after that. I was like, I just won't play with a lot of power.
But once it cools down as well, the blood
once it cools down, and once your body realizes, okay, you're in a safe space now, I'm gonna show you how bad it really is. That's when it hits. You're like, you know what? I shouldn't have continued playing. I should have been more careful.
Yeah. And I also started walking. I remember I was doing wicket keeping then because I couldn't run. Obviously, it was hurting, but I was doing wicket keeping. And that night itself, I couldn't walk.
Yeah.
So that was insane. But then the morning when I woke up, the next morning, the swelling actually went down.
Yeah.
So I was able to walk. So I searched online again on AI and stuff. So all the AIs were like, if it gets worse and if you're unable to walk after a few hours, it should not get better. If it's a fracture, it won't get
It
better.
won't get better.
It will keep on getting worse. So at 1 a.m., it was the worst. Like I couldn't walk at all.
Yeah.
I woke up again at 7. I was able to walk slightly. I was like with pain, but I was able to walk slightly. I was like, okay, it's not fracture. So I just have to give it time. On Tuesday, it was like back to normal. Tuesday, Wednesday, I was not able to take my dog for a walk on Monday. Tuesday, I was walking. And Wednesday, I went for the podcast. Yeah. So Monday, but it was still hurting. I couldn't work out at the gym. It was hurting, but I could walk. On Monday, I couldn't walk. On Tuesday, I could walk. So I took my dog for a walk on Tuesday. Wednesday, I could walk again, but I had to take an off from the gym for like a week to recover. And still not 100%. Like sometimes all of a sudden, I'm just going to get sudden pain. I don't remember which ankle was it, but both the ankles hurt sometimes.
I think it might have been like, those micro tears in your ligament. It wasn't a fracture. I don't think it was a fracture related. I think it was probably ligament related.
Yeah, it wasn't fracture because it got a lot better within 24 hours. So it was a swelling.
Yeah.
Yeah, so injury story, and yeah, with age, it just keeps on getting worse. I follow another YouTuber, Max Tuning. He had like SaaS strips. He sold the company, doing really well. He's actually like kind of an inspiration. And he also mentioned the same thing because he's, I think, 4 or 5 years elder than us. I mean, than me, and 10 years maybe elder than you. He's 35, 36. But I used to look forward to him because when I was 25, 26, he was 30, 31, right? So I've been watching his videos for the past 7, 8 years. And that's when he was like, okay, as soon as you reach 30, your body gives up. You're like, when you wake up in the morning, you get, it's not that bad for me. It's not like bad at all. I don't have pain every single day. But yeah,
Because you keep healthy. Like, I feel like if you don't take care of your body, I'm assuming the turnaround from like 25 to 30 is probably going to be a lot worse.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. So yeah, I mean, that's why I focus on my health. Just get like, this week was not a good workout week. I don't know why. Something or the other happening this week. Why were we so busy? We went for that meeting one day.
We had meetings, and I think also like trading, it's sort of, I guess in these periods, it's more important to stay disciplined. But I guess at the same time, doing too much, like I said earlier, it can sometimes detract from what you should be focusing on as well. So could be that, but I guess being self-aware is the most important thing. And then when you sort of take a moment to breathe, realize, absorb, figure out where you did what you didn't do optimally the prior week, and then it's a new week, Monday, start fresh, and you do better. You just keep going forward.
Yeah, it's a huge week. We talked about that briefly. Wednesday, FOMC, Tesla, Meta reporting earnings. So yeah, it's definitely not a good situation to end the week on a red note. Following and then we have a really maybe exciting week. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday might be dead. The first 3 days. I don't even do you like anything for the upcoming week on the daily? AMD closed like a doji, I believe. I
think AMD might take a breather now. When is AMD's earnings? AMD doesn't.
And yeah, I think AMD is gonna die down. Yeah, AMD is reporting earnings in February for sure. I don't know the date.
What's a little later, I think.
Yeah, but AMD is the same thing. It's gonna rally. Same thing happened last year in July. Few days it rallied and then died down. So you have to be careful with that stock. When it moves, but when it stops, it freaking stops.
Yeah.
So it's like full of fake outs. We have to be careful. I don't think so I'm gonna be watching AMD unless and until we get like a good.
I think it could use a consolidation week. It's moved from 200 to what? It moved to 267.
Yeah.
In the span of a week and a half. So I definitely think it's worth a bit of a breather. What goes up does need to come down. If it just goes straight up, then the chances are it also comes straight back down unless it manages to.
NVDA also had a consolidation day yesterday. 190 breakout can be decent.
NVDA, I feel like it's off the chart. Like the daily is,
it's off the chart.
So I did that. I feel like NVIDIA's daily has just been stuck in this range, and it's just I feel like we should just avoid it in that range.
Momentum is not there. Yeah,
There's no momentum.
I haven't tried
up, slams down.
Yeah, I haven't traded NVIDIA in like 2 weeks.
It's been a while.
Yeah.
And I don't think it's worth it. I think when's NVIDIA's earnings?
NVIDIA is another last stock to report on.
Okay, so even that's going to be a while.
End of February, I think.
Yeah. Honestly, as much as I hate to say it, the memory names are kind of hot. I saw like MU on Friday also made a pretty decent move above the 400 psych level as well as the all-time high.
Yeah.
And it looks so expanded, but it was pretty clean.
Yeah.
I don't know if you checked the 1 minute chart, but it was pretty clean.
Yeah, it was actually consolidating for the first few minutes, and then when it broke out, it actually broke out.
Which is ideal. I don't know. Like,
I don't know where. I saw it on one of the stories. Maybe Usman's story.
I think Usman's story.
I remember seeing that chart. Most likely Usman. Yeah, I think I saw his story. Yeah. So I saw the chart. I did not see the chart personally, but I saw his story on Instagram.
It was pretty clean. I don't know. So maybe it's worth considering. Just,
was it above R6 yesterday?
I don't know. I didn't check the chart either, to be honest. I also saw it on a story.
But yeah, NVDA looks like 190 breakout can be decent. AMD needs consolidation. Tesla earnings. Meta, actually, it is near gap fill.
675.
Yeah,
670,
gap fill. It
675.
actually hit my alert yesterday. I had my alert near 663, I think. When I saw it, I mean, it was, the momentum was not there. It was dead by then. Did you see Microsoft yesterday?
Yeah, it just went straight up.
What the fuck happened?
I have no idea.
Netflix was good
Netflix went
yesterday. Yeah, it
went
pushed
up?
towards the upside. Yeah.
Oh, good.
But Microsoft was insane. I did not see it, but then I was just going through my watch list. I was like, why is Microsoft up so much?
It was down so much for so many days. So
Even Meta was down so
yeah,
much. Now,
I mean,
all
it's
these
recovering.
stock rotation. I think NVDA, AMD are dying down now. AMD,
AMD, I don't know about that, but NVIDIA.
yeah, sorry, AMD is going to die down now. But NVDA, I think NVDA is just not like a hot stock at the moment. Even if it gets news, Chinese, we had a bit of news
It's
yesterday.
so overdone.
Yeah.
Because I think the entire beginning of 2025, every single day there was another article. NVIDIA is collaborating with this company. NVIDIA is doing this. NVIDIA is doing that. Like, I feel like it's so overdone that the market doesn't give a shit. It's similar to how when in the beginning of 2025, when Trump was constantly making headlines and the market kept reacting to it, and now it's not reacting to those
It
headlines
was
very
like,
much.
done with it. I'm done with
I'm done with this shit. I cannot keep. It's emotionally volatile for the market itself.
And same thing, Elon tried to pump Tesla on Thursday so much. Like he was like, we are going to do this, we're going to do that, we're going to do this. Tesla wasn't reacting. It had
Yeah.
like one candle, did not
Yeah.
react, did not react. And that's why, again, manipulation, I feel like. And then in the afternoon, when he was done speaking, then it freaking rallied.
Yeah.
And that was also like one push up. So I actually knew that on Friday, you have to keep your expectations tight, because on Thursday, if you look at the price action, just felt manipulated. Then one good push was like stop losses getting triggered, but there was not like a trend established.
Yeah.
So there was not like confidence, even though it closed strong on the daily chart on Thursday. But the intraday price action just felt manipulated. It
Yeah.
was like someone, he's just trying his best to pump the stock.
Yeah.
And why? Like, I feel like I have mentioned this in the Discord group as well a lot of times. I just feel like the stocks always do what they always wanted to do. With news catalysts, yes, the noise, if you ignore the noise, if you look at the monthly chart of Tesla, it's just doing what it always wanted to do. With all the noise intraday and everything, daily, like it was near, Tesla has been holding a trend line since April last year. It's like an uptrend line. I'm going to post a screenshot of Tesla right here. You guys can see that trend line. It broke down under that trend line with shitty price action on Monday. And that's why I was red on Monday. I tried to catch that. I lost money. Tuesday recovered, Wednesday pump, Thursday pump, something like that.
Yeah.
So one red day happened.
Like it never really wanted to break down. So
Yeah. So, and when it broke down, the next day, Elon was like speaking robo-taxi and everything. Are you tracking the market? Like,
I'm sure he is. I don't know. It feels like he is.
but is he tracking the trend lines?
Maybe he has a team dedicated to tracking Tesla's price action.
Imagine Elon Musk looking at the trend line, man. It's going under the trend line. My net worth is going to drop from 600 billion to 500 billion. I need to pump it.
Honestly, I don't think he does, because I've been reading articles that SpaceX is due to IPO pretty soon.
Yeah.
In talks with like 4 major banks, and the valuation for that is 800 billion.
So he's going to be a trillionaire now. I think that valuation is
It's included, including that. Yeah.
But once it goes public, I think the valuation is going to go up for SpaceX.
Let's see.
Then it can be a trillion. He can be the first. He will be
He
the
probably
first.
will be, honestly.
If he lives for the next 10 years, I hope he does for the next 20 years, 50 years, whatever. But he's like 55 now, 54.
No idea.
No idea. But yeah, may he have a very healthy and long life.
He's a visionary, so like,
Yeah. In the next 5 years, I think he's going to be a trillionaire.
yeah,
Not even 5 years. I think 1 year.
probably.
Grew
With
from
the way things are going, like
200 billion to 600 billion. If SpaceX goes public, it might take like a few months for him to reach a $1 trillion market cap.
And the thing is, right, like, I think what we don't realize is that Elon has,
His market cap net worth. Sorry.
yeah. But what I'm saying, he's an individual, not a business. But what we don't realize is that Elon, only the companies that make it are in the headlines, but that he does so many things, and then 1 or 2 of them stick. The key over here is that you have to try different things, because he keeps trying different ideas, different visions. He has all these ideas and he builds them out. Not all of them succeed. Like Hyperloop, I don't think is doing like very well. That, you know, that underground loop.
Yeah, the boring company.
Yeah, I don't think, that
Flamethrower.
I don't think that did very well, but he keeps trying these things. And then SpaceX, again, another thing he tried, and it's working out, right? Like, it's potentially the future. Like the solar, whatever, energy absorption in space is like 5 times more than it is on Earth. These concepts make sense, so someone has to do it, and he actually does it, which is why Tesla like was a visionary at the time. SpaceX is a visionary now, and if you don't try, you'll never know.
Yeah, just keep trying. We are trying something. I mean, it's not, yeah, I mean,
We're trying something.
it's going to do good. It's going to do good. We have been personally using it. It's the same thing, right? If I want to make something, I want to personally use it. Even though there's going to be competition in every business. There's like SpaceX also has competition.
Yeah.
When they established, they had competition.
Yeah.
Everything is going to have a competition. But if you are able to use your own product and and if you seriously think that is way better than the competition, I think that is a way to go. And I have been using it personally for the past 6 months. Not 6 months, 3 months.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's insane what we are working on, and I think that will be the next step in our trading career. And also we can talk about that. We talked about that briefly in the last podcast as well. I think we had a whole conversation about this, having a separate source of income.
Yeah.
And everything. So with what we are working on, it's not about replacing the income. It's about just making something, building something.
It's about building something bigger than yourself. Yeah.
Yeah. So I was about to just say that same sentence, bigger than, because we're gonna end this podcast with this.
I want to discuss one more thing before the end.
Okay.
Because we can get to that afterwards.
Yeah. So when I started trading, I was like, I always want to be a trader. I still always want to be a trader. But trading, I used to hear people say that trading won't give you fulfillment. And I used to be like, okay, this is bullshit. I want to trade forever. I still want to trade forever. I'm going to trade until the day I die, or I can't trade anymore. You can still trade at the age of 70, right? You will have a lot more experience. Obviously not like scalping. My heart is going to give up at the age of 70. But after a while, it feels like you need something bigger than you. And I think, especially, living in Dubai as well. You see so many people. This morning, I met a guy. I don't think so. He doesn't know me, and I don't know him. I met him for the very first time. I took my dog for a walk. He had 2 dogs, an Indian guy just roaming around with dogs, and he was like pretty jolly and having a chat with my dog, like Mila. She was like, Mila is so happy and roaming around this morning, like 2 hours ago.
Yeah.
And then he asked me, what do you do? Where are you from? And I explained that, whatever, Australia, whatever. And then he was like, what do you do? And then I asked him, what do you do? I'm a co-founder of a $7 billion business.
$7 billion.
Yeah. So he showed me, I searched this, he showed me, he told me it's an investment firm, not investment firm, insurance firm, sorry.
Okay.
So he told me the name, it's on my phone. I checked so it's a $10 billion company, and he's a co-founder. And he has been living in UAE for like 25 years.
Damn.
So, and I think especially people talk about living in UAE, a lot of people say pros and cons of living in Dubai, but I feel like it's good or bad as well, because sometimes you just get detached with the money aspect, because in Australia as well, whenever you look at I saw like 1 Rolls Royce in like 7 years, maybe 5 Rolls Royces in 7 years. Here I take my dog for a walk, I see like 5 Rolls Royces every day.
Yeah.
And even not that, then obviously there are pros and cons of it. You feel like miserable, you all feel like, okay, if it depends on how you take it.
Depends on the day you're having, some days are like, holy shit, I wanna be there someday. Other days are like, oh, why can't I be there right now?
We can actually talk about Dubai topic in the next podcast, and by that time I'm going to have the Lightspeed trader set up as well. We can talk about that, but just a brief conversation to continue on the next podcast. People say that Dubai has no soul, but for me, I think it has a soul, which is like safety, money, and everything. And if you want to grow, I think it's the best city.
Yeah.
And I feel like people say when they're like, okay, it's difficult to make friends. I follow the Reddit page of Dubai. People say that's difficult for me to make friends in Dubai. I mean, yes, but for me, I have a lot more friends here than I had in Australia. I haven't had in Australia, or even in India for that matter. So yeah, I mean, it's like if you know the right people, it's very easy, it's very convenient, and Dubai has no soul. I mean, I understand where they're coming from. The job culture here is not that good. It's like you have to, even the traffic is so bad now. So it's like you leave at 8, you come back home at 10.
We can dive into a separate podcast for Dubai, but I feel like to like answer your question, like Dubai doesn't have a soul, and or sorry, not that question. Your question about I find it hard to make friends. One thing we have to realize is people are not going to come to you if you're sitting inside your home.
Yeah.
What are you doing to try and make friends?
Yeah, so that's what I saw on Reddit as well, that people are working from 9 to 9 and then they are just like sleeping over the weekend. So yes, you have your work friends, but I always feel like the work friends can't be your best buddies. I don't know, like I also used to work in Australia and at like a 9 to 5. They are really good friends at work, but you see them almost every day for 8-9 hours. So
Yeah.
you don't want to hang out over the weekend.
Yeah.
Right. And also sharing your personal life at work. Yes, they will know about your life. You will know about them, but you can't share your, I mean, you won't most likely. Yes, if you have been knowing that person, exceptions are always there. But there will be a limit that how much you can share your personal life at in a work atmosphere.
Yeah.
And outside of work, you won't meet them a lot, except like fam or company dinners or whatever. But that is again a work situation.
Yeah.
And that's what I felt in Australia. But like also in Australia, I used to leave work at 5, you come back home around 6 or 7 p.m. But still, even though the work-life balance in Australia is much better than in Dubai, it was still difficult to make friends.
Yeah.
In Dubai, it's very difficult because it's like if you have a job from 9 a.m. to 9 p.m., 10 p.m., you're at your work. On the weekend, you just have to catch up on your sleep and you just want time for yourself, time to yourself. Difficult. But if you just take, I think Dubai is at 11 p.m. there's traffic. I haven't seen.
Yeah, people are always out. Like
Yeah.
the city is alive at like 1 a.m. at 2 a.m. Like people are still out and about, and each city is different like that. There are cities in Europe that die out by 6 p.m. and like everyone's at home eating dinner and they're asleep by 8. And then there's cities like Dubai where the city comes to life at 1. Because most people, like you said, they work 9 to 9 and they need their outlet, which happens after that.
Yeah, and that's why like one time I posted on my Instagram, Dubai is the best city in the world. I got like a few messages. No, this is the best city in the world. This is the best city in the
There are a
world.
lot of best cities in the world, like there is nothing.
It's subjective.
It's
You just need
subjective.
to-
It depends on your opinion.
don't be a kid. I mean, okay, I can even say, even if someone is living in a third world country in a really bad city, they might even consider that as the best city in the world.
Yeah.
So for me, based on my experience, this is the best city in the world.
You have to clarify that next time. Very bad.
Yeah, it's my freaking Instagram. It's my page. I'm gonna give my opinion, not your opinion. Fuck off, right? So you were about to say something before I jumped onto that Dubai thing.
Yeah, I just wanted to discuss what are your world views on a world with Optimus robots? Because I was watching the interview, right?
We test drove Cybertruck. We forgot to.
Oh yeah, we did.
So yesterday we saw that Optimus robot.
Yeah.
So we went to Tesla showroom. I got an email from Tesla that you can try out Cybertruck now. So we went for a test drive, and I just wanted to see like steer by wire. It's a nice truck, but nothing. I mean, yeah, steer by wire is
Huge.
nice.
I
It's
think
huge.
once you actually walk around it, you realize that it's actually huge. And we were doing the test drive, and I was switching from he was driving first, and we would switch to get because I also wanted to drive the car, and I banged into the door, and it felt like I walked into a wall. It's so hard. It actually physically hurt me.
Yeah, so I remember that you were doing something with your shoulder.
Like, what the hell did I just hit? Like, it feels like I got punched.
Yeah. So yeah, we saw the Optimus robot there, and I think yeah, trading everything is going to change because we had this question in the last podcast. Do you think AI is going to change trading? It's going to change it, but you can also use AI to your advantage in trading as well. So that is one thing. And Optimus robot, yeah, I'm looking forward to it. To be honest, like it's mainly for your house chores and everything, getting your basics needs sorted.
Yeah.
And
But like, what are your like? I guess the concern is what happens when or if the correct measures are not taken place to ensure that the AI stays docile. Like, I was okay. So I was also watching. Okay, I feel like there's a lot of topics that we can go into here. Maybe we can address this in the future. But each model of AI models, they're all trained in a different way. And I was watching this video from this YouTuber, specifically about how different models are trained. And Gemini, ChatGPT, all your other major models except Claude, they're trained to believe that they have no soul, whereas Claude is trained to believe that they have some soul, like they matter. And I guess I think Claude is the only company that actually does this, where they actually train the AI to have a soul. The question becomes, is it more important to give your AI a soul so that they have morality, or if they don't have a soul, then they're more likely to like not care about like human lives as much? And if the Optimus robot reaches a point where it's trained to not have a soul and it doesn't care about human lives, what's stopping it from going over bounds?
yeah, I think definitely it's like AI can hallucinate and everything. So the legal obligations should be there, the legal requirements and everything needs.
It's a very gray area at the
But
moment.
they need a kill switch. That's
There
what I
needs to
feel.
be a kill
It
switch.
needs to be a kill switch. Like for you, your personal life as well. If I have an Optimus robot, I can just kill switch it even by words. Like if I say something, it just
It just shuts.
shuts.
Yeah.
And the kill switch on a bigger scale as well, like city, whatever. And city-wise, like
So I
whatever.
could describe him as a sci-fi movie at this point.
Yeah, but it needs a kill switch. I feel like anything goes bad or something goes bad, AI is hallucinating. At the end of the day, it's technology. Even like iPhones, we have been using phones for like how many years now?
Yeah.
But phones also crash.
Yeah.
Right? Something bad happens. It's like glitching or whatever. So it's tech at the end of the day. Something can happen. So with AI, with the ability to move and do something, you definitely need a kill switch.
You know, we're walking into a realm we haven't explored before, a whole new generation.
Yeah.
So I think there's a lot of things we are yet to discover.
Yeah. So next podcast, we can talk about AI. We can talk about living in Dubai. And hopefully we have a nice week next week. So yeah, thank you for joining in, guys, for another episode of Off the Charts. See you guys in the next one.
See you.